I have chosen to return here on my own. So why am I returning now, you may be wondering? Well, I never gave a chapel talk during my 4 years at Westminster, and it has always been a huge regret of mine. I'm also here to share some thoughts that I wish I had heard more of when I was 15 years old. I'm here to tell you my own story in hopes that it may help even one of you as you travel through your high school journey. I'm here for you to all understand that everything will be okay in the end. In fact, everything will be much, much better than okay. But mainly, I'm here to say, stand up and share your own story. Now, I know this is much easier said than done. You could have not paid me $1 million to stand in front of all my high school peers and be vulnerable for even 5 minutes. I would probably mess up, the boy in my pre-cal class would probably never talk to me again, and my life would be over for sure. I would ultimately have to pack up and move back to Ohio and probably change my name. Obviously, this would have not been the case, but in my 18-year-old mind, this seemed to be the only plausible outcome of me giving a chapel talk. It turns out that over the years, I have learned that letting yourself be vulnerable in front of others can truly be a very rewarding experience. Almost a year ago, with much trepidation, I published a website that revealed many secrets I had been carrying with me for over 4 years. I shared things about myself I had never said out loud before. Things that I had kept from my family and closest friends since June of 2012. I finally had the courage and pride to say out loud I had an eating disorder. And to my surprise, I received an overwhelming amount of support and encouragement. In high school, sharing any hardships seemed to me like a weakness. Even if it was just to my closest friends, it seemed like everyone always had it together, and if you didn't, something was wrong with you. It took me a while to learn that this was not true, and that life can be hard for everyone. Everyone has different struggles. Many fight personal battles we know nothing about. Struggle is universal. But in my 15-year-old mind, I did not realize I was not the only person struggling. So I would attempt to mask my own sorrows and display a perfect persona of happiness and confidence, all the while I was fighting one of the most difficult battles between myself and me. One of the hardest things about mental illness is how isolating they can be. For me, all of my antics surrounding my eating disorder, such as over-exercising and eating too little, were secrets I kept to myself. I was in constant fear that people would find out about my habits, or that people would be worried about me, or that people would try to help me. One fact about mental illness that can be confusing is that you could need help, but you might not be able to accept it right away. Asking for help is much easier said than done, and denial and mental illness usually go hand in hand. What I needed to know how to do, but did not yet know how, was how to lean on others. I pushed away help from concerned friends and family. I lied to nurses in the health center, and I lied to teachers because I was not strong enough to say, I am struggling and I need help. My struggle with an eating disorder began the summer after my 4th form year. I had back surgery that summer to correct my scoliosis, and I lost weight from being in the hospital for 7 days without being able to eat or move on my own. When I got home, I can still recall the first time I looked in the mirror and how much I liked my slimmer frame. I remember thinking in my head, maybe my friends would like me better this way. During my 3rd form year, I had not felt as if I fit in at Westminster, and I struggled with not liking myself because of this. I didn't like myself because I did not feel as confident like the rest of my friends. I didn't like myself because I did not feel as pretty as my other friends. But most of all, I hated myself for not being able to love myself, something that others seem to do so easily. Believing I could not control anything else in my life, I decided to control my eating. I had a food journal that I would write in every day, aiming to keep each day under 500 calories. In my room, I would do 2,000 jumping jacks and 100 crunches, in secret, of course. I was going to become someone my peers would like, someone my friends would like, someone I would like. As I fell further down a dark hole of self-hate, I became blind to the tight-knit community surrounding me, trying to help me. I was completely blind to the fact that it was difficult for people to love me when I was not capable of loving myself. I was completely blind to the fact that no one could truly lift me up or make me happier besides myself. It was as if I had one huge internal light switch and I voluntarily just shut it off. At the time, it seemed easier to sit alone in the darkness I surrounded myself with than attempt to blindly step forward. After graduating from Westminster, I started at the George Washington University the following fall. This was the first time in my life I was in an environment where no one knew about my struggles and I looked healthy. I made incredible friends, but a city school was not right for me, so the following year I ended up transferring to Trinity. I was excited to be back in Connecticut and at a small school with familiar faces. It was comforting knowing that I was going to a school that was similar to Westminster. Trinity has a small campus, a quad, small classes, all things GW lacked. And I was yearning for the comfort that I felt at Westminster. But I was worried people were still going to view me as someone who was struggling. I was worried I was forever labeled as the girl who got an eating disorder, the girl with issues, the girl with problems. To my surprise, my life at Trinity was not like that at all. Because even though I did have issues with eating, most of which are behind me now, I am not perfect. I am human and I still struggle with stress and sadness from time to time. The difference now is that I no longer let those issues control me or define me. I recognize issues for what they are, but I do not let them control all of my decisions or actions. I came into Trinity with newfound confidence in myself. I've learned that the way you treat yourself tends to have a direct correlation on the way others treat you. The more I loved myself, the more I was able to open myself up to loving those around me and accept love from others. I was finally able to reach down and grab the girl out of the dark place I was keeping her in. I came across a little quote a while ago that read, "Once you can tell your story and it doesn't make you cry, that's when you know you have healed." This quote has stuck with me for a while and has explained to me why I could not find the courage to step up here a few years ago. The story that I wanted to share was not over yet, and I was not healed. By my 5th form year at Westminster, I might have looked recovered, but mentally I was a couple years away. It is very hard to talk about mental illness when you are in the midst of fighting it. I do not regret the 2 years I spent fighting anorexia because they gave me the strength and confidence to come back today to speak to all of you. Maybe a couple years later than I intended, but all that matters to me is that I am here now. Mental illness surrounds us everywhere and comes in all different shapes and sizes. It should not be something that we are ashamed of or think we are weak because of it. Let's break down stigmatized beliefs surrounding mental illness and speak up about the struggles we all go through. Mental illnesses are not self-inflicted and they do not make us bad people. For me, writing about my own mental health and issues on my blog helped me to find my voice and a purpose. Because personal stories have the power to break down barriers. One bad chapter doesn't mean your story is over. I want to make a change in this world because the discussion of mental illnesses or problems that make us feel isolated is not loud enough. So talk to one another. Reach out. If you think that girl in your French class is having a bad day or the boy in your history class looks upset, say something. You would be surprised by how much a simple hello from a stranger could change someone's day. Still to this day, I miss walking to class or to practice or to sit down dinner, and no matter who I passed, it could have been a friend, a stranger, or a teacher. We would always smile and say hi to one another. It is those little moments of connection that I did not realize how much I appreciated them until they were gone. I stand in front of all of you today, proud of my journey, proud of being able to accept help, proud of realizing my worth is not defined by others' opinions, and to say if I can get through this, you can get through your struggles too. You should never feel scared, be scared, or feel ashamed to reach out or to lean on others, because no one should fight a battle on their own. Even if you think you are alone, I promise you aren't. One of the greatest things about Westminster is how closely knit the community is. The person sitting next to you, your teachers, your deans, your coaches, your advisor, your mentor, the nurses in the health center are all here for you. They are here to help you when you need, to motivate you, and to watch you succeed. Although I personally struggled with overtly accepting help from those around me for some time, deep down I knew I was never truly alone, and that is what ultimately saved me. My 6th form spring, one of our teachers sat my grade down and told us how our last term was going to go by in 15 minutes, and that never again will we be in a place where people know us so well and care so much about us. This seemed like a scary thought at the time, but I learned after I left it wasn't meant to be scary. He wanted us to continue to take advantage of the amazing community that we were in. After leaving Westminster, I realized the relationships I created here were the strong foundation of the confidence I had and have walking into new communities. Westminster gave me lifelong friendships, constant support, and confidence that I did not know was possible. If you ever feel alone here, remember how much support there is around you, and do not be afraid to reach out and accept it. Be patient with yourself, lean on others, and if you need to work to put yourself first, do that, because the only person that consistently sticks with you throughout this crazy journey of life is yourself, so you may as well enjoy the company.